Hey guys, this is Mark Jewell, and I want to invite you to come and take a look at the Millennial Mastermind. Are you like a lot of other young people out there in your industry that are just looking for a chance to step up and lead? Just wondering when it's going to be your turn? Just chomping at the absolute bit, waiting for an opportunity to step out and take control? Are you like a lot of other millennials that I know that are just tired of the stupid labels that the older generations keep putting upon us? Lazy, entitled, selfish, don't give a crap. Well, I tell you what, if you're listening to this and you're a high potential young leader, future leader of your industry, you know that those labels are pure crap. Isn't it time we did something to change the label, to change the story? Maybe it's time we start waking up, stepping up, and speaking out for the leaders that we know we can be. Are you tired of being ignored when it comes to development opportunities? Are you maybe a little bit disappointed in the level of training that has been available to you in your organization? If you're anything like millions of other millennial employees out there, you have probably been let down a little bit when it comes to the type of training you've been granted. What you know is that as great as e-learning modules are, and as efficient as they can be, they're just not that much fun. I think one has to ask themselves, is this all there is? Is there more potentially out there for me? I mean, is there another opportunity, another way that I can develop myself as a leader? Maybe even a way that my boss would get behind me and support me in doing. Something that would be different, better, that would push me outside my comfort zone so that I could really be the leader I want to be. If you find yourself asking some of these questions, I might have something for you. You see, I have had the good privilege of speaking and training all over the globe, working specifically with young, high potential millennial leaders. And I've found the same frustrations all over the place. Either not enough training is offered within the organization to develop young leaders, or there's no training, or they expect them to learn everything they need to know by watching a frickin' e-learning module. Well, I'm here to tell you that that is not enough. It's just flat out not enough. I believe that the millennial generation is the most important generation to come to this planet to date. With the amount of technology and the resources and the knowledge and the schooling that we have at our fingertips, young, high potential millennial leaders like you and me can lead this planet to new heights. But first, we have to take some time and invest in ourselves. We have to take some introspective looks at ourselves and make sure that we are bringing to the table everything that we possibly can bring to our employers, to our businesses, to our communities, to our friends, and beyond. And that is why I created the Millennial Mastermind. You see, I took a good, long look around at the development opportunities specifically available for high potential young millennial leaders out in various industries. And what I found was really, really disappointing. See, what I found is the story of the frustrated millennial that wishes they had more training, wishes they had better training, is bored to death in training, is sick and tired of e-learning modules, and just wants to step out and lead, and yet gets stuck behind the labels that they've been given by other generations, specifically because the young millennial leader wants to step out and do more, wants to take on more responsibility, even sometimes when we're not ready for it, but we're bold enough and willing to ask the question, can we step up and lead more? And sometimes it gets interpreted a little bit wrong, doesn't it? So I created the Millennial Mastermind as a way to develop peer groups for millennial leaders to learn and grow together. So what does the Millennial Mastermind look like? Well, let me give you the 36,000-foot view. You see, for starters, we have a 2-day intensive program, a totally transformational event that will just shake you at the core of your being, but it will spit you out the other side, ready to go home and lead at an entirely new level of consciousness. After that, we follow it up with a weekly podcast, a monthly accountability group, which is your mastermind group of peers that will help hold you accountable to the goals that you set for yourself and help you accomplish your fierce vision for the future. And then you also have a monthly teleseminar with industry leaders, people that you'd love to ask questions to but never get a chance to. I'll be bringing them in. You'll get to submit your questions and I'll interview them via Google Hangout. There's tons of value crammed into this thing, but I top it off with a great little online VIP members only group so that we can stay in touch even after we're no longer at the event. So maybe you're saying, hey, Mark, that sounds great. I definitely get why you've put this program together. I certainly see how you're going to accomplish it, but what the heck am I going to be able to do better or differently if I choose to come to this thing? So let me give you a few key insights. What if I could give you some tools that would help you overcome some of those relationship barriers that maybe you're having inside that corporate office? What about the employee that may be a little bit older than you, more experienced than you, but still reports to you? And they have maybe some new goals that they ought to be setting for themselves, or you have at least some new goals that you'd like to see them accomplish, but they're just not sure. Maybe they're a little bit set in their ways. How can we move them off of that chair? How can we move the needle a little bit with that employee? Those are just a couple of things. What about this? What if I could show you a great way to determine which leadership style to use with which employee, whether you report to them or they report to you? What about managing expectations up and down the chain of command within your company? How do you report expectations to your boss and manage expectations of those that report to you? These are just a few helpful tricks that I've heard millennials talking about, complaining about, wondering, how can I get past this? How can I do this? How can I get more out of the people that report to me? How can I do a better job of reporting to my boss and meeting his expectations? These are some of the frustrations that the Millennial Mastermind will teach you practical, skill-based application and help you do better once you return home. So take a little trip with me real quick to the year 2047. At that point, the oldest of us millennials will be pushing 70. And here's what we will be doing. We'll be looking back, just as the baby boomer generation is now, at our past. We'll be looking back over the past 3 or 4 decades of our service to our communities, our churches, our families, our employers, our businesses. And we're going to have to answer some very tough and honest questions. Did we lay it all on the table? Did we play all of our cards? How did we do in the decision-making department? Did we utilize all of the resources that we were given, all of the talents we were given, all of the great advantages that our generation has been given? Did we use them all to our fullest? Did we use them all as good as we possibly could? When it's our time, 30 years from now, 40 years from now, how are we going to be answering those questions? What will those answers sound like? That's where our generation has the unique value proposition today to look into the future and be able to begin to answer those questions with vivid clarity, with lucid dreams, being able to understand what that future picture is going to look like. That's where we begin the Millennial Mastermind. I cannot wait to go on this journey with you. It's going to be epic, absolutely epic, because we will start planning what the answers to those questions are going to sound like and so much more when we get together at the Millennial Mastermind. So what are the next steps? Well, if anything that I've said in this video has been of interest to you, then it's probably time to take some action. All I'm asking you to do right now is just to submit your name and email and maybe even a phone number right here on this page. It'll follow up with an email directly to you and a free gift from me, just a little PDF to help you get along better back in the workplace. But beyond that, I want you to start thinking about whether this would be something for you. Maybe this is something you need to run by your employer to see if they are willing to pay for your attendance at the Millennial Mastermind. And I have a great resource for you that's going to be in the follow-up email as well. All you got to do is send them to another video that I recorded specifically for them. And if you'd like to reach out further with me, feel free to contact me on LinkedIn and just look up my name. I'll pop right up. Connect with me on Facebook or look me up on Facebook under Mark Jewell Speaking and Training. I cannot wait to interact with you at the Millennial Mastermind. This is going to be just such an epic adventure. I cannot wait. We're here at a certain time on this planet for a certain reason. And maybe we get to go further on this journey together than we ever could have gone by ourselves. That is what the Millennial Mastermind is all about. You're going to hear me talk a lot about helping you give back more of your time, your talent, and your resources, because you know what, folks? That's what our generation is here for. We're here to be present for the world so that we can give back more of our time, our talent, and our resources while accomplishing a whole heck of a lot of cool stuff together.